glad we fixed it.
Yeah. How was your 101?
It's pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
So
How you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. It's been a nice morning. I'm enjoying the weather. I don't know about you. I like the cold. So
I don't like the cold. I like the rain. And
yeah.
when it rains, I think the temperature kind of balance out because it's been freezing, right? And if you pump your ace or your heater, you're gonna have a straight up high ass bill, right? Because you're trying to get.
Yeah.
I don't like being cold. I don't know if because I'm black or what. I just don't like being cold.
But I will say there is something different about California cold because I have family in the East Coast, like primarily New York and New Jersey, and I've been there for the winter. And yeah, it's like below zero sometimes. Like it gets cold, but it is not
Oh,
like 50 degrees here is cold.
and baby, I've been to Chicago, not Chicago, Detroit, and New York. We tried to walk to the store, just walk to the store, which is just like 2 blocks. I said, oh no, oh no, 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 we got to turn around.
But it's just California is something different when it gets cold. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like that, even that 60 degrees is like chilling to the bone. So I don't know if it's because of the coast and it has that coastal that I
Yeah.
don't know. It's but
Anyways, yeah.
I have been to New York and back east, and when it's winter, then no, not my cup of tea. No.
No.
So welcome to Bahia Movements. I'm calling it Zoom Corner, but on the YouTube podcast, it's actually our podcast is called Fuck It, Just Be You. So, and it's talking about queer and plus size bodies in the dance industry. And I'm just asking people whether you are queer, whether you are plus size or whatever, just have you experienced it? If you have, what's your story around it? How do you feel about it? How do you think that it's changing? Do you think it, if so,
Mm-hmm.
is it changing for the better? Is it changing for the worse? You don't know. So we're just trying to, I think this is an important topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't know what is going to land on or whatever, but it's helping me because I know I struggle with both. I'm bi, and I also struggle with my size. And I don't want to say struggle, but it has been a struggle for me. So yeah, it's been helping me. So this podcast has been helping me to overcome my challenges.
Yeah.
So let's start with you introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you move through the world.
Well, my name is Tallulah. I am a current working dancer and choreographer in the Sacramento area and sometimes the Bay Area as well. I do go out to Oakland every once in a while. I'm also a theater and dance student at Sac State, so I try to just do as much performing and as much art as I possibly can. I work with multiple high schools in the area. I dance for Sacramento Cabaret. I teach at Sac Dance Lab and sometimes Full Out Studios. And I just dance as much as possible because I need it. It's definitely my air and my blood and everything I need to live. Yeah, so that's me.
Yes, that's perfect. That's beautiful. I love it. I feel the same way. I'm a dancer by nature. I danced in my mama's belly.
I did too.
Right? Nafi danced in my belly. So it's just, keeping it going and hoping her kids dance in her belly. So yeah. I don't know if you're queer. You don't have to express that or not. But if you want to talk about that part, let me know because I'm totally open to that. Now I do have questions, or we can just freestyle flow it. So it's really up to you.
We can do some questions. We can do a little bit of both because if you give me a question, I'll probably just go
Keep
until
it
you stop.
going.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So let's start off with a question that is a little bit obvious around our body size and our body,
Mhm.
you know, how we carry our body as plus size dancers, because you are a plus size dancer, and I think you are fierce.
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
I
I remember when I saw you, I was like, ooh, Nafi. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I was just like, yes.
thank
So,
you.
oh yes, definitely. So as a plus size dancer, do you feel insecure about yourself as an artist?
Genuinely, yes, at times I do. It has over the past couple years, it's definitely like it's gotten so much better, not just like in myself, but because of the environment that I'm in, we're all products of our environment. I grew up in I didn't start dancing till I was 13. My first dance class, I was my 13th birthday. I went to a ballet class because I was actually a cheerleader
Oh,
before.
okay.
And so they were like, take ballet, it'll help. And I liked it more. So I went over there.
I'm leaving y'all bitches. I'm going
Yeah,
over
pretty
here.
much. But I mean, I was always a little bit chubby, even at my thinnest. I had a
Yep.
butt, I had arms, I had a little bit of a pooch. Like I've always had some meat on me. And no matter what environment I was in, I was immediately met with like, you're not as good as everyone else in the room. Even before they saw me dance, even before they saw anything, they just saw
That
this and went,
preconceived
no,
notion. Yeah,
yeah,
that preconceived
absolutely.
stereotyping. Been there.
And, and then like it always was just kind of in the back of my mind, like I'm not as good as everyone else here. Or I grew up in the convention circuit, and so you audition for like scholarships and things like that, and I wouldn't even be looked at twice. It'd be like whatever. I would, and it's like I would go into auditions like, well, they're not even gonna look at me. Why would I even try?
Yeah.
But when I got invited onto Sacramento Cabaret when we started, it was invite only. And I'd been taking classes at Sac Dance Lab for a while. And then so they invited me to join because they also knew I had like theater experience. I'm going to school for this kind of stuff. Like I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's more of a risque show. We wear very little clothing. We are doing like sexual moves. We're like grinding on the floor and on each other and on everybody in the room, kind of. And then before I never really saw myself as like a sensual dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I danced with Nanho a lot in high school when he like first came to the area. So I was more like contemporary, more serious, but not like sexy. I didn't see myself as sexy because nobody else did either, or that's what they told me at least. And but now over the past 2 years now, oh my gosh, it's been 2 years with cabaret. Being in that environment and being accepted as like I'm just as good as everyone else on this stage. I'm just as sexy as everyone else here, and everyone else, people pay to come see everyone, including me. It was
Yes.
kind of like it let me tap into that divine feminine energy and just like really like I don't know.
On
It just
you,
like
like
own it,
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's a little frustrating that it did have to come from the validation of others. But
You know, that validation piece is
yeah.
hard. That validation piece is something that even me pushing for I'm 50, pushing close to 50, um, wanting to get validated by others is a strange beast
Mhm.
because I started dancing at the age of 11 professionally. And when I started dancing, I transferred over to a professional company at the age of 12, 13. But it wasn't a youth company, it was an adult company.
Mm.
So with it was me and one other person, the director's daughter, and she was still black, but she was like this, like she was a pencil. Like
Mhm.
she was thin, well skinny, and I wasn't fat, but I had what they call big bones, right? I carried
Yeah.
my weight,
Yeah.
right? And so I had the hips. She didn't have the hips. I already had the breasts. She didn't have the breasts. So it was just a thing of even at that age, I still started to get compared by someone else, even though our dance skills were impeccable. You couldn't say anything about our dance skills, but it was always a thing. And this is back in the 80s, a thing of you're still not good enough because you're carrying this
Mhm.
weight, right?
Yeah.
And so even now to this day, I feel like I still am trying to chase after um that validation from my previous dance instructors. Like I'm
Mhm.
still waiting to hear them saying, which she has said it. I still feel like I still want more though. I
Yeah.
still want more from you. I still want you to validate me. Look what I'm doing. Look at this, look at that, look at this, you know. And it's still at this point, I had to say, you have to give that up. Like you have to, Afia, validate you and know that you are beautiful, right? As is, still with this weight, with this belly, with these arms, you know, if I
Yeah.
still can get on the floor and I can still dance, if not better, still as good as some of these younger people that's coming in, you know. So that validation is it can really grab hold of
Yeah.
you and put you in a whirlwind. But yeah, no, I totally have been there. Yeah, I remember you know, going into high school and still dancing. I started, like I said, I started dancing at the age of 12. And again, at that time, I swear I had 0% fat, but my body didn't show it like that, right? I still
Mhm.
just looked, and I wasn't muscular. I just was very lean, right? But I had a butt, I had this, and I had that. And so, because I was dancer, I still heard, you know, you're good, but you're just too big.
There's
You're
always that but.
a butt,
It's,
right? And I was like, because in my head, I was going to go to LA and I was going to be somebody's backup hip hop dancer. I just knew it, right? I knew I was going to go down and be
yeah.
somebody backup dancer from whoever, you know, MC Light, somebody, because back in the day, that's who it was, right? And all I heard was, "Oh, I don't think you're gonna make it because you're a great dancer." I'm not saying that but when you go down there, they're gonna eat you up, and they're not even gonna look at. Just like how you were saying, you go to the
Mhm.
auditions, they're not even gonna look at you because you're not 110 pounds. You're just not. You know, you won't even make it. So it just crushed my dreams. So I never even attempted. I never even thought about going to even try. And in my head, I was thinking if I would have just followed my dreams, maybe I would have been the one as a plus size dancer to open up that door,
Mhm.
you know? But yeah, it's just really hard. And it made me start to say, as Nafi grew older, don't do that to her. Don't put that on her. Even though in some situations I did, you know, but I had to like pull it back. I had to suck it back. I had to say, I'm sorry. You're beautiful. Don't go on a diet. Don't do this. Don't do, just be you. So it's crazy, you know.
Yeah. Because my mom too, my mom was a professional dancer from like the mid 80s all the way through like up until she got pregnant with me. And because she got a really bad car accident and like injured her back pretty bad. But she also like carries her weight, she always, I got it from my mom for sure. I got her body type, but she, we did have those moments where like as I got into dance and stuff, because she never pressured me to do it. She was never like, I was a dancer so you have to be. I kind of went on my own and look how it turned out. Turned out just like my mom. But there was
Mm-hmm.
always once in a while there'd be like, she would catch her, she would start to say something and go like, oh, I'm sorry, same thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean it that way, but like it did like rub off on me in certain points. So like, but it was also, what was that, like 40 years ago too. She does say like, that's how we were told. And then
It
like,
was. No, seriously, anybody that you ask that was trained in the 80s, seriously cutthroat about. I remember I interviewed this one one of my hip hop teachers in the Bay, Tracy Bartlow, she said, "Yeah, I was dancing at Alvin Ailey, in New York, and I had to weigh in.
Yeah.
They weighed us in, and if you were an ounce over, they would put you on a diet immediately." I was like, and this is back in the mid 80s. They were seriously cutthroat about that, right? And the thing that I would get, oh, you pass because you're doing African, and African isn't considered a professional dance. So
Yeah.
because you're doing, yeah, you're not doing ballet, or so you can be any size that you want dancing African. I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Wow. So it was never, I remember, like I was saying about going to school, I remember my mom telling me, you need to be walking around with a bottle of water in your hand like these white girls. You need to be eating a salad all the time like these white girls. I'm like,
I
what?
don't want to.
What in the hell? Like, no. Let me just be me. But because of, again, it's programming. It's just programming.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, the 80s was hard. It was beautiful, but hard at the same time. They just ate you up. They didn't give a hell.
Yeah, because I think she told me she like right after high school, she did like community college for a semester. She grew up here. She grew up in Sacramento. And then
Mm-hmm.
she said, she packed her bags and moved down to LA. So that was like maybe 87, 88 around that time. And the stories I've heard from her, she doesn't go into much detail, but it's just like, my God, like the things they would tell her. And I've seen pictures of her when she was like my age. She was like half my size, and they told her she was too
She
big.
was, no, seriously, like I said, no, seriously. If I look at my college pictures now, and one, because I'm tall, right? If I look at not my high school pictures before NAFI, I was like, what the hell were they talking about? Like, I seriously had like zero fat on me. Like, I don't understand. Even though, like I said, I wasn't muscular, but I had like a body of like an athlete,
Yeah.
because I'm a dancer. I was a dancer. I danced at school, and I went and danced in the professional company. Like, come on, we conditioned, we trained, we ran, we did
You
this.
were an athlete. Absolutely.
Right, right. So it was like, I'm looking at them like, wow, but they're looking at all the other people that are zeros. Like, they're zeros. They're like, between a 0 and a 1. I think the director's daughter was like a size 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could not compare to her being a size 10. I was like a 10 or 11. I was bordering that 10, size 10 and 11. Maybe I hit a 12 every once in a while when I'm bloated, you know.
Yeah.
So that was like, if you're, I'm a 16 compared to a 10. I was like, I was what, 17? I was a size 10, 11. Come on, like, wow. But yeah, it's crazy.
It's just, yeah, because I do even the same thing. I've seen pictures of like my competition photos or like dance photos that I had back when I was like maybe 14 or 15. And I would get comments about my body nonstop, at least multiple times, just in the dance studio, in the dance world, multiple times a day, some comment, whether if it was like a little like whisper to the side or like to my face.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at pictures of like when I was like 14, and it's like, I was skinny.
I was skinny.
I just always had a butt. No matter how thin I was, it was in my butt and my thighs. I am quad heavy. All of my weight I'm a pear. Like, but just because of that. But that brings up the topic of like a lot of the comments were from my peers and from people my own age, because I think it was partly like I always felt like I had something to prove in the room. So I felt like I feel still, sometimes I feel like I have to outdance everybody else
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to prove that I'm worthy to be in that same room because
Yeah,
of the way I look. And so I think a part of it was because teenage girls
they're
aren't. They can be
Nasty.
nasty. I was
They're
too.
nasty.
I was too. Admittedly, I
Oh
could be
yeah,
too.
I was a straight bully. I was a straight bully, and I didn't realize that I was a bully until I stepped back and looked at it. I was like, damn, I was mean. Yeah.
But
No,
it's
it's
just like, and I
crazy.
think a part of it was though, like sometimes they saw that I was in the same room, so I was good enough to be taking that class. But because I didn't look the way they wanted, and it it could have possibly been seen as like I don't want to say a threat, but like,
Oh no, you
you
were a
know,
threat. It's hands down. You were a threat, and I think that that's also something. And I'm dancing with my peers. I'm dancing with grown ass women. That's like,
yeah.
you guys are tripping off of stuff. You are tearing down a 16, 15, 16, 17-year-old because of your insecurity, right?
Hmm.
Like,
And then
how
yeah,
jacked up is that, right?
especially because like I look at it now and I like reflect on things that I've been through, and it's like, first of all, why are you looking at me like that? Anyways, I'm a child. Like I haven't even gone, like I'm not even done with puberty yet. Like I'm not like it's especially like around, it's really big, or it was really big. It's not so much anymore. I will say it has changed a lot, but like ages 12 to 14 was the biggest, like you have to start thinking about how your body is going to look later. It's like, I don't even know. I'm not
I don't
and
even
like
care. How about
and
that?
I didn't care. I honestly I did not care. I could have not cared less. I was like, I'm here to take my dance class and leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Let's
still
just
kind of
worry
that
about
way. I'm
that
here to train, I'm here to learn, and I'm here to go.
and buy. And I'm gonna go get a Big Mac afterwards. Okay,
Pretty
so
much, yeah.
hello.
I did. It's
Dude.
like it's just, but that brings up like how things have changed, especially it's like I give Sac Dance Lab a lot of credit for the environment that they have created. Especially I started dancing there when I was like I just turned 18, because most at the time I think their classes were only 18 and up. And
Mm-hmm.
like, because it's a new studio, I was scared to go, especially I think, oh, they're already gonna think something about me because I'm big, because I'm chubby, because I'm fat. But like I went there, and it genuinely seemed like nobody cared. They could not give a single fuck about the way I looked because of the
Mm-hmm.
way I danced. They only care about like the quality, performance quality, which is my big thing. Like as long as you can perform.
Are you getting
And
trained? It's technique. Are you getting the technique, right?
yeah,
Because a lot of people are raw talent, right? And I'm big on raw talent, right? That's just by nature. So I love that raw talent. But sometimes even the raw talent needs a little bit technical tweaking.
yeah, you
But
need to
if
hone it in just a little bit.
right,
Like,
so I think that is about passion, technique, and drive, right?
yeah, absolutely. That is my like thing. Like as long as you like what you're doing, I'm going to like watching you. Because I've gone to shows where like it's either like a dance concert or a musical or something, and I watch the dancers all the time. And then there's always like one or two usually that they just look like they're having the time of their lives up there, and they fall out of turns. I've seen people boom right on the ground and get right back up because they're just having a good time, and it makes
Yes.
you want to watch them. And it's like,
Yes, your eyes are just drawn to that's it.
yeah,
I've been there. I have to tell myself. I went to go see what is it? Beyonce's in theater. I'm not a hot beehive person, so I forgot the name of her tour. But I went to go see her tour in theater, and I had to tell myself. I had to tell myself, do not criticize. Just sit here. You are
and
not
watch.
going to
Yeah.
be able and just watch and enjoy because you are not going to be able to get live in this ladies concert for $20. There's no way, right? So sit your butt
Oh
down
no
here
way.
and just do not sit up here and pick out the dancers and their costumes and what they're doing and just sit and just enjoy the movie, right? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I do. As soon as I sit down, I just go into, oh, wait, oh, I like that. I don't like that. I mean, it's just like it's about my natural performance nature that I just get into that
Yeah,
zone.
especially
But
doing
yeah,
it for so long, you kind of just automatically like,
it's
I'm
just
watching something, have to
But
watch it.
my instructor said that if you end up as a professional dancer and you come somewhere and you don't drop into that, that means that that show is a good ass show,
Yeah.
that they're doing amazing, right? Because you as an artist are now able to not be an artist and just be like a participant, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have another question.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you see yourself and your artistry in the dance industry as a plus size dancer? How do you see yourself bringing, if you feel like you bring anything to the industry as a plus size dancer? How can you talk about that if that question makes sense to you?
Yeah, I've thought about this a little bit recently because I've noticed at the cabaret shows, like after the show, after our bow and stuff, we hang out and we're like personalities as well. We're not just dancers. We hang out. How'd you like the show? Whatever. People take pictures with us. It's kind of a social hour after the show. But I noticed every single show that I've done, and I've done 3, 4 shows a month for the past 2 years. There's always one or two women or a group of women who are not stick thin that come up to me and say, "You were my favorite because you look just like me." And
Yes.
it's so, and that kind of brings up the topic of validation again, because it's almost, because I never had that, where I also get really emotional about topics. I get really passionate about,
Sorry.
but I am a crier. So if I cry, I apologize in advance. But it's passion tears.
Mm-hmm. Been there.
But it's like, and most of the time these women are like, I'm gonna average mid 40s, maybe 50s, and they always tell me like something along the lines of like, "Oh, you can do it. I could have done that too if I had seen that somebody like that doing what you're doing." And like it gives them a sense of like community, especially in a
Yes.
place like that. And I do the same thing when I go to shows and I see somebody that looks like me, body type or whatever. I immediately am like drawn to them,
Go on to that.
obviously, nature. But it's nice. It's almost like a breath of fresh air, like I get to see this. And then so that's come up in conversation over the shows and stuff. And then also with the classes that I teach at Sac Dance Lab, I teach 2 right now, but I've one of them, my beginner burlesque class, I've been teaching since August of 2022. It's been a while that I've been teaching that class. Every Monday I've been there. And I always get same age group. My average age of my students is same, like 40s or so. And a lot of the time it's like women who have never danced before in their lives and they just want to feel sexy on a Monday afternoon. It's usually like 6 o'clock on a Monday. Or it's people who danced in high school and college and they took a break and they're coming back for the first time in 20 years. Or I had one student, I get so emotional about her because I miss her. Her name was Crystal. She came to my class every week for like a year and then she ended up moving to Atlanta for work. But she told me that like she had just gotten out of a 12-year marriage, a 12-year relationship where she didn't feel beautiful. And and then she came to my class and said, this is helping me heal.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That means a lot, right? That means a lot because dance is healing, right? Dance is healing. And for you to be able to provide a platform to assist someone through that healing via your art, you're doing an amazing job.
And that's
Right?
like that's what I've always wanted to do. I love helping people. I'm such a people person. I like to think I'm very caring. And when she told me this story, I was just like, "Oh my gosh," cuz it did like shock me a little bit in the sense that like I'm only 22 and that's a lot of responsibility in a sense. I feel like there's a little bit of not, oh, I don't want to say a weight, but like there is this like, because I've had since she was the first one, but I've had multiple students come up to me and say like, your class is helping me feel sexy again in my 50s. Your class helps me like embrace my femininity, because I do have a student that comes every once in a while that is a trans woman, and she tells me like, you know, like this helps me feel comfortable throughout my transition and feel more
Mhm,
like the woman that I have always really been.
mhm, mhm.
And so, and I've always said I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was like 8. I just didn't know what I wanted to teach. I thought like school or whatever. And then I guess I just love helping people. And I feel like I'm genuinely, I'm trying to do that. And I think,
Well, you are
yeah.
doing that, and you have validation that is being received, right? And is also being helpful, and that's a beautiful thing. And it's I I used to teach kids in the Oakland School District, and it is such a refreshing feeling when I go back home, and
Mhm.
the kids that I used to teach would come up to me and be like, "Oh, that's amazing!" And these are kids that I taught them when they were 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, and now they're 22 or whatever, you know. So it's really just like an amazing um, um, validation to see that I have been able to at least reach 1, 2, or 3
Mhm.
people, well, persons, right? Just to be able to do that through my passion for dance, my
Yeah.
love for dance, right? And also to show people, one, because one, I'm Black, two, I'm a woman, and three, I'm plus size. So that means that don't ever count yourself out, right? Don't ever count yourself out and say, oh, I can't. No, you can. You can do whatever you want.
Especially dance. Dance is like the thing that I've always said, like, absolutely anybody can do it. It doesn't matter. I hear people all the time that take my class, oh, I can't count music or I can't keep a beat. That's okay. That's, in my opinion, I guess it could be considered a hot take, but I see dance as literally just allowing your soul to pour out through the movement. Connection to music or not, you don't need music. I personally need music. I don't really like dancing to silence. But
But let me just talk about that, because there's music in your head. So it's not
yes,
silent, right?
yes,
It's something that others may not hear,
but you hear it.
but you hear it. And it's infectious. So if you keep moving, they will eventually pick up on the vibration
Mm-hmm.
and
Because
get on that groove.
there is music in everything. I've actually one of my friends, her mom does like sound healing therapy, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple sessions with her because I was like, I gotta try this out. And she was explaining to me there's a part of the session where you're laid on a table where there's strings, it's almost like a harp underneath the table, and it's tuned to I want to say a B or whatever, because there's frequencies to like different notes, but there's also
Mm-hmm.
frequencies to different organs, and like
Mm-hmm.
one of the part of your brain is tuned to this, whatever the harp is tuned to. And so she has these tuning forks where she'll hit it and it's got like a thin point, and then like put it where like your liver is or your kidney or your heart, and it's tuned to that specific frequency that like that organ vibrates at. And I
I
feel
want
like
to do this. You have to give me the information because I want to do that.
it's so interesting. And you feel it. Like it was very, because the first time I did it, I've done it 3 times and it's been a while, so I will have to find her info. But the first time I did it, like I used to have really bad stomach issues due to like I suffer from anxiety, and it manifests in like my stomach. I get nauseous quite frequently. And she has like Tibetan singing bowls, and she'll do the bowl, and then she put it on my stomach, and I could feel it like sucking the bad like
That
energy out.
energy.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it was at first I was a little bit like, oh, it was a weird feeling, but like I left and I just like felt
Yeah.
fine.
No, man, any kind of Eastern medicine
Hmm.
I'm on it, right? Because that's almost like acupuncture. That's almost
Yeah.
like, yeah. So it's definitely meditation, all of that, yeah, moving that energy is serious. So if you got that information, I would love to try that. But
Hmm.
yeah, that you have a already whatever inside of you. It's just
Yeah.
innate inside of you. And
You just gotta find
yeah,
it
you
sometimes.
gotta find, and most of the time, or yes, or you have to be guided to it, right? Because sometimes people just need
Hmm.
a little bit of that hand guided, drawn out. Yeah, and I think that we as dance makers, the holders, the teachers, that's what we were sent here to do.
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
No, yeah, through dance, like, because I can't sing. I think we were talking about that at the last time I saw you at the
I do. I remember. Yeah.
and you were telling me like I can sing, I can act, I can. I was like, yeah, I can dance. I can act, but when you want me to sing, no, I can't hold a tune.
I mean, I can carry a tune enough. I am definitely a dancer first. I'm a chorus girl for life. Put me in the back. I'll hold myself. I'm not a soloist for sure.
Oh,
Singing wise,
oh yeah, yeah, no, no, I can't even be in the
okay.
chorus. They're not even gonna
I
let
say,
me be in the chorus.
I say I'm okay when it comes to singing, but it's just I think there's music in everything. I've said before, like, oh, if I wasn't going to school for theater or dance, because I have family members that are like aren't, kind of roll their eyes, but they keep their mouths shut, but I see it on their faces. But they said, oh, what else would you do? I said music. It's still an art. I'm an
Yes.
art, but I feel like music, dance, all things like that, they're all languages in their own, especially music, because I trained in like classical piano for 8 or so years. And so I know, like, it was a while ago, but I understand the basics, very basics of music theory. And it is very much like a structured language.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very cool because, like dance, it's pretty universal.
Mm.
Like, but if I'm speaking English and I'm in a room with a musician that speaks Mandarin, if you give us a piece of sheet music, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. That's
And same with dance. Same with
that
dance.
that is true. 100% true. We went to Panama. Nafi and I went to Panama to go and teach the kids there. And
Hmm.
I know poquito habla español,
Yeah.
poquito, right? But that even though we had translators, the thing that we had to understand is that dance, like you said, is universal. So once we start the music, like, and we would be playing American music, they were like, you know? So it was like, it was really fun to see that, right? And I was
Hmm.
at uh, off the top, that was like, dance is always going to be a universal language. Music is always going to be a universal language. That's just it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so I agree on that one. I agree.
Especially anything with a drum in it. You have a drum right here.
Yes,
Like,
that
so
heart.
it's like, as long as you can follow a solid drum beat, anybody can. And for
Yep.
anybody who says they can't, you're wrong because you can find it.
And let me
I
show you,
swear.
because we about to find that one. And so I totally get it. I totally understand that. Um, how do you feel about queer dance? How do you feel about queerness in the dance industry? That's what I should say, even though I know there's a lot of queer dancing. Um, but how do you feel about queerness in the dance industry and your thought process on where it's going?
Genuinely, I feel like from what I've seen and what I've experienced, I've noticed that, queerness in any art community is pretty much like it's hand in hand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you walk into a dance studio, there's at least one queer person in the room. It's me, but like and you can like spot each other too. But it's never been a big adversity. I've never noticed that for myself or for some of my friends that I've talked to. Like it's kind of like a generally accepted community within the dance community. However, I have noticed that typically gay men are more accepted than gay women in the dance community. And it's like this weird, I don't quite know how to explain it. Like I have concepts but not words for it. I was reading a paper that was written about breakdancing and B girls in like when hip hop first really started gaining mainstream attention, and how B girls can be considered drag kings in a sense,
Mm.
because breaking is kind of like it's a masculine dance form, but because a lot of it is telling a story. Most dancing is telling a story, but a
Yes.
lot of the time these B girls will not only dress up as boys, but like they embody this like male energy in order to be accepted into the art form that they're participating in. And but you don't, it's almost like they had to do that to be accepted in that community. However, like drag queens and gay men who, take part in more feminine dance forms, it's more like they're more applauded.
Yes, I
Especially in
agree.
heels classes. I teach heels, I perform in heels, I take a lot of heels classes. Usually if most advanced classes, if there's like three or more men in the class, all the commercial classes now are like we take videos for the last 10 minutes or so, or whatever groups. There's usually, can I get the boys?
Mm.
But like,
And
it's like it's an
that
interesting thing.
you're speaking on something that's very, very important because it's still like a gender,
Binary as well, yes. Because
which
like
is
me, yeah,
crazy, crazy, stupid. So I'm glad that you're touching on that because I feel that. As a Black person, as somebody that's bi, as somebody that's running, that is supporting the queer community, right? I dare not speak on a gay man. I dare not. Even though I feel like you guys still have so much power, so much more power in the queer community that you guys
yes.
want to acknowledge, right?
And unfortunately it's innate in the society that we, our patriarchal society.
Yep,
Yes, you are gay. Yes, you are part of a minority group. However, you're still a man and you
yep,
still have some form of innate privilege,
yep.
no matter what,
But nope, yep, yep. I kid you not, anytime when I'm in the room with a queer man, either I have one that loves me or I have one that totally cannot stand my
Yeah.
Black ass. Seriously, and that's because either they want to be me, because they want to be me, because they fucking want to be me. And they just don't know how to deal with that
That,
energy, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and it's a trip because Malfi is saying while she's down in LA at school, she's experiencing that with this one queer person that's in her class, and she's like,
mhm.
I don't know what it is, and I was like, girl, you better recognize this is what it is.
Yeah.
Some queer men have problems with women. That's just it. Biology, but and I don't even know and I'm so out of the, forgive me, whoever looks at this, I'm so out of the loop about not being gender specific, but if you are born a woman and you come up with in connection with a queer man that really wants to be a woman, they have a problem. Even if you say, as a woman, I do not recognize myself as a woman, I'm, they, right? But
Mhm.
still, inside of them, that's not, I feel that is not going to ever go away. I feel that they still have some type of struggle in that, and vice versa.
Yeah, and admittedly, I feel like the only chance for that to go away, where if we, and I don't even know how it's possible, were to like deconstruct the entire gender binary. But that's going to take, there's 8 billion people on this planet, and it's going to take everybody. If it's possible, it's going to take so long. We are not going to be here for it.
Yeah.
It's like, which that saddens me a little bit, because the way I grew up, my family members, everybody, my parents are both artists. I grew up kind of in, not necessarily in, but in proximity to the queer community. All my mom's friend, all my mom's friends are gay men. Like, and like I grew up around the drag community because she has a lot of friends in the drag community here and like in LA. And then I have friends that do drag, so I'm kind of like, I've just always kind of been in there. So I grew up with that like understanding of like, even if I didn't know how to put words to it, like gender isn't really like, it's whatever you want it to be. I could not care less what you have in your pants.
What you were born with. Yeah. No, like, seriously.
I don't care.
I don't care. And if you feel that you want to flow this way, flow that way.
Go ahead.
And it is free for you to do. This is your world, boo boo. Do you, right? That's why this is called Fuck It. Do you.
Literally,
right?
just fuck it. Do you. Be you. Do whatever you want.
Yes, because I don't care. I really gives a rat's ass about what's going on with you. I'm trying to keep myself sane. My life,
yeah,
right.
I always say I have enough to worry about over here. So
yeah. Why do I want to bring on your baggage? I don't care. And I'm learning that because even last night when I picked up my parents from the airport, I have to tell myself, stop criticizing other people, because you don't want nobody to fucking criticize you, right?
Golden rule.
And I have to tell, and I think I'm getting better because I'm noticing when I do it, right? And I notice that I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down, right? And I also have to stop inviting. Like I have to stop putting my button to be pushed. Like I've just exposed it, and I'm just gonna let someone just push that button, so I can be like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna worry about Afia, and then I think I will live a better life.
Absolutely. I think so, because I've been trying to work on that on myself, especially because like I'm in my early 20s. I moved out of my parents' house like a little bit over a year ago. Like I was kind of forced to focus on myself. And so I've been trying to, I'll catch myself being like not as open-minded as I should be, which I did. I think I'm a pretty open-minded person. I think I'm not very judgmental at all. The only time I really will judge you is if you're hurting yourself or somebody else.
Yeah.
If you're causing some sort of harm to anybody, including yourself, I'm gonna kind of like, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But other than that, because both of my parents, the way they raised me was very much like, everyone's in their own little bubble. They're not worried about you, so why are you worried about them?
Yeah. Yeah. And
so like back to the topic of like gender and stuff, I always kind of like, I always knew I just like wasn't cisgender heterosexual woman. I don't really have a label for it because I'm kind of just, my motto is like, I'm just kind of here. Like, because some days I guess I do tend to, when people ask, labels are more for other people than they are for yourself, I feel like. And especially regarding your gender and your sexuality, it's kind of, because people will ask me like, oh yeah, what are your pronouns? Like I love that this is a common question that people ask now. I love, especially in the dance world, people like will straight up, hi, I'm so and so, and they'll just ask.
It's not just in the dance world. It is definitely trickling out. It is
everywhere, yeah.
But and I am trying not to be what's the word? Not judgmental, opinionated about it. And I think because you do you, but don't look at me wrong because I don't fall into that, right? And I think that's another thing that I'm not really gung-ho about in the queer community, because you guys talk about let me be who I am, don't ostracize me, don't put me in a bubble, but then y'all turn around with these pronouns and titles and different things like that. You're actually doing what you're saying you're asking people not to do.
Yeah,
right?
and that is a tough, like a tough battle, because there is a way to do it, but you have to do it in the sense like, this is me, just for me, not for you. And that's what
Mm-mm.
I try to do with myself. Like when people ask me about like my gender identity, I kind of just go like, whatever I look like that day. You know,
Yes,
when people ask me my
yes.
pronouns, I say
But it
any.
is not, and
I tell
it's
them anything. I say any does not bother me because I direct it. It doesn't bother me. You can use whatever is fitting to how I'm presenting myself that day. I won't get upset.
I love it. I love it. I love it because I'm okay with the body that I'm in. I'm okay with that on one aspect. I still really tear myself up about my weight, and I'm trying to stop that. But the fact that my soul has entered into this body that has ass, booty, vagina, I'm okay with that, right? I'm
Yeah,
okay. Now, if my soul entered into a body that had a penis and whatever, I would be okay with that. But that's Afia, right?
that's you.
That's
Yes.
me. So sometimes I want to look like this. I want to look like I got a beanie on with a hoodie with some Timbs because that's how I roll, right? But then sometimes I want to put on my heels. I want to put on my makeup. I want to put my earrings on, put my hair up. That's how I'm feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that doesn't take away the fact that I'm still okay in the soul that my body has entered. I'm still okay with these breasts. I'm still okay with this butt, even though it's a little junky junk, right? Even though it's a little expanded, and I'm still working on that mental, you know,
Yeah.
tear down, right? Be gentle with yourself, Afia. But I still am me. And so for me, and not to cut you off, and I'm sorry if I did,
No, you did not. You're okay.
for me, I pass on that gender pronoun because I'm Afia.
Yeah.
I don't go around identifying myself with genders. I don't go around saying I'm this because I have don't care about I don't, before this gender stuff, we were just our names, weren't we? Right? We did not identify ourselves whether we are male or female, right?
And
And some,
even before we had names, before we as humans had the ability to formulate the concept of a name or language, we were just us. That's whatever. That's whoever, that's
right.
whatever. Like,
So I know for me, I just say I'm a Fia.
and that, you know what? And that's for you, because the beauty of it, that is for you and you only. And that's, so I will refer to you as Afia.
Yes,
It
yes.
is not that hard. People seem to think it is so hard, but it's
And it's
not.
not that serious. People take it
So,
seriously, and I think it's not, and again, me, I have my own. I'm trying not to project my feelings, but I have the right to feel how I feel, and I'm
absolutely.
so happy that we are acknowledging these land backs. I'm so happy that the indigenous Indians are getting their land back and getting that acknowledgement. However, I love the fact that Sac State does acknowledge not only the Indians, but the workers, the Black
Mhm.
and brown bodies that also contributed to this white supremacy and hierarchy in America, right? And in the world. I think Sac State is the only place that I have heard with their land back acknowledgement has included that,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
And that was the one thing that really impressed me about Sac State, because this upcoming semester is only my third semester there. I started there last spring, and I went to the SBAD show. It was like 2 weeks into the semester. I was like, I'm gonna go to the show because I'll go see anything. First of
Mm-hmm.
all. And first of all, I loved that's my first impression of Sac State dance. Other than I'd seen some things of the dance team because I'm friends with Jolie. but
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a completely different side of dance that I'm not really familiar with as well, like modern dance, like concert dance, like that. And then when
Mm.
they did that land acknowledgement, because I've heard land acknowledgements before, shows before, but I had never heard that clause included, because I'm it's sad that I have to say this, but I'm one of the lucky people to be aware of, the content of this clause. And, some people don't know that
Yeah,
because history is so,
messed up.
yeah,
Yeah. And
erased.
oh. Yes, they are erasing
Everything.
chunks of history,
Yeah.
right? And that's the part that I'm like, I just really feel once they latch onto something, they latch onto it, right? And so I just feel, and with anything, just like the Israels and everything, that you're gonna be passionate about your people. You're gonna be passionate about how you were treated. You're gonna be passionate about making sure that people acknowledge you and what has been done. And I'm not trying to stay in the present, but you're correct. And I know we're going to a different whole conversation, but it's still all around being able to acknowledge, with queerness, plus size bodies,
Mhm.
black, white, gender, all of that. Just acknowledge. Because
And that's all
acknowledgments,
it starts at. Yeah, because my philosophy in life, some people have a different view, but I believe that everybody is significant to the history of the world that we live in now. No
yep,
matter, and all it takes to start is a simple acknowledgement,
yep,
especially,
that's it.
and I'll hone it in on the dance community now, I guess, because most dance forms come from the African diaspora, come from queer communities, particularly Black queer
Black.
communities.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that. Just 1 second. Let's talk about most of the art, like you just said, hip hop, how hip hop has influenced the mainstream
Mm-hmm.
everywhere now. You got Target rapping. Come on, right? So everywhere, McDonald's rapping, everywhere, everybody, white boys coming out their cars bumping, sagging. I'm like, but how many, 20 years ago, this was
Yeah.
not it. It was not it. So it was all about, oh, this is gangster rap. How dare D. So yes, it is. That's all I mean. Acknowledge. Just acknowledge. Right? Just
And for the
acknowledge.
people who don't like it, whether you like it or not, it's there. Too bad. Just deal with it. Just say, even if you hate the fact that, like these dance forms came from the Black community, it still did. So
It
just
did.
acknowledge it.
I mean, because even when you were talking about the B boys and the B girls, and I'm sitting here in my head thinking, this is street shit. It was B girls all everywhere in this street underground shit, this breaking shit in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It was B girls. It wasn't no such thing of, oh, I had to show up like I'm a B girl. No, I'm a B
Yeah.
girl, and I got
Yeah. But then the thing about the gender like conversation that came in about that, it only came about when it got out of the underground and more
yes,
into the mainstream.
yes,
And it just kind of
yes.
blows my mind a little bit. It's just like as soon as something gets a little bit of attention, we got to put it in a box.
Yep. And that's what I mean. That's the whole thing. And that's why I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because it is full circle. It is full circle. We cannot compartmentalize these things. We can't just put it in its compartment and say, oh, let's look at it separately, because no, it is going to overlap in some kind of way, right? And so, yes, queer, plus size, gender, hierarchy, all of that shit. So I'm
Yeah.
glad we're talking about this. This is really important. And I
Yeah.
appreciate your openness and willingness to talk about this, because, like I said, the reason I'm starting this podcast because it's healing me. I'm carrying years, especially coming from the 80s. I'm carrying years and years of struggle, of resentment, of just feeling like I lost out on shit, you know, not being able to openly say, hey mom, this is my girlfriend, when I
Mhm.
was in
Yeah.
junior high, I mean, seriously, not being able to just come walk down the street. I remember when my girlfriend kissed me in my junior high school, and I was like, oh, like in the hallway. I was like, you better look, my boyfriend is right there. No. We do that at home, in the back room, or whatever. Oh yeah, not being able to just come out and be like, hey, fuck it, this is what I am. If you
Yeah.
like it or not, this is who I am. Fuck that I'm 10 pounds bigger than this other chick. I don't care. I'm dancing though, right?
Yeah.
So those are
I'm
the
still
things,
dancing, so
right? And I'm still dancing circles around you. So what's the
Mhm.
problem? And I wish I had enough about myself to say, no, I'm not going to have my baby. I am going to go to LA. If I get kicked out of every whatever audition, at least I tried, you
At least
know?
I always say, just go for it. That way you can say, at least I tried it, and it
Yep.
didn't work because not everything is going to work. And I feel like I was having a conversation about this a couple days ago, actually. It's funny that this got brought up, where like people in my age group of say like 18 to 25, we kind of, we grew up with the phones and computers, and we have an instant access to
Mm-hmm.
anything that we want, especially early 2000s. Internet wasn't really filtered, so you kind of had literally access to any kind of information, whether it was true information or not. However, we also kind of, I see this expectation of social media has kind of shown that, like, social media is all fake, I think, at least. And like people, like if somebody else makes it, so can I.
Yes.
Which,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you can if you work hard enough, if you want it enough, if you're dedicated enough. And like a big component, unfortunately, is timing and kind of luck, because there are so many people who want to do the same thing. So this competition, it's a numbers game. So I feel like I'm trying to accept. I'm a perfectionist, so I'm trying to work on, no matter what I do, like if it doesn't work, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's
No.
fine.
No.
It's literally
And,
fine.
and so my spiritual teaching, because I don't feel like I'm religious, I'm spiritual. And so my spiritual
Me too.
teaching is saying that that's what you think is failure is not. It is allowing you to understand even more fine-tuned what you do want and how to go after your desires and wants. So if you actually encourage and celebrate those constraints in your life, those mishaps in your life, those setbacks, if you say, I'm so glad I went through that. I understand it now. I can understand where I need to go. I know
Mm-hmm.
I want this. That kind of like set me on the right path to saying, oh, that's not the way I need to go. I need to go this. So don't look at it as, oh shit, I fucked up. I failed. Oh my goodness, I'm a failure. I'm not gonna. No, if you celebrate those things, then it gets you closer towards that desire and wants and manifesting your dreams.
Yeah, and needs as well. Needs and wants are different things, and I believe the world will give you what you need,
Need.
especially when you don't want it.
Yes.
Because
Correct.
and
Yes.
the thing that really brought this to my attention was I went through a breakup last year. My boyfriend at the time, we were together for a couple years, 3 4 years or so. And when I told my best friend from high school, she moved to New Zealand for work for a year.
Wow.
But she's the first one I called to be like, yeah, we broke up, whatever. And the first thing she said to me was, congratulations.
Yes.
And I went, what? I kind of was like, hmm? Why would you say
Yeah.
that? She said, because you went through an experience that taught you what you want and what you also need. And
Mhm.
so, and it didn't work out. And look, now you can go get something else that is better suited to you because your world doesn't revolve around anybody else except for
But
you.
you, I was listening to, I don't even know what the guy name is, but I was listening, I was going through, sometimes I get on my rant of going through the internet and Instagram and all that stuff. I went across this one guy, and the guy basically said the same thing. It tripped me out how guys, when they break up with their girlfriends, the first thing they want to do is go get a couple of more groups of guys, go and get drunk and be like, oh, and then start bashing the girl, right? And he's like, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open a bottle of wine. I'm going to say, good luck to you. There's the door. I'm going to probably eat a good meal, and I'm going to take my butt to sleep and go about my business,
Yes.
because it's a great thing that I'm now through with that energy that's not good for me. It allows me to open up and receive what is good for me. So that girl wasn't good for me. There's someone else. So I'm not
Yep.
going to boo hoo. I'm going to congratulate, celebrate, and keep on moving because it's about me, not about her. So I was
Yeah.
like, that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. And
So,
then like, this breakup that I went through, it was pretty mutual. You know, we kind of agreed like this doesn't work, not working. Thank you. Sorry. But we both said thank you because
mhm.
that Ariana Grande song, Thank You Next, it's very true. And we were very much
Yes.
like we appreciated each other for what we taught each other because we met when we were like 18.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So but like still now we're like we're not in constant communication, but we're on good terms because we have mutual friends too. I see him every once in a while, and it's never a bad
That thing.
interaction.
Yeah.
Never. And it's like, hey,
And I think that that's important too. I think that moving through life, being able to say, closure, like
mhm,
peaceful closure, is important, because we end up, if we don't, we end up having these memories of just badness, and every time we think about it, is
yeah,
a vibration that kind of just puts us on a whole different feeling. And so again, my spiritual teacher is like, if you want to continue to let go of the past, then correct those feelings. Even if you don't go back to that person to say thank you, whatever, you can correct it inside yourself and leave on a good note.
yeah,
Leave that place on, even if y'all didn't say thank you and y'all did kind of break up on y'all,
yeah,
you can go back in yourself and say, but I'm going to still be okay with it. I'm still going to be inside of myself
yeah,
okay with that. So yeah, I think that that's important, because just like the vibration, the lady that does the whole vibration and stuff,
hmm,
we are electrical currents. We go off of vibration,
hmm,
so either it's going to be a good vibration or a bad vibration that's going to continue to either lead us down that wrong way or lead us down the way that's going to bring us success, joy, happiness, and all of that. So
and then this also ties into like I know we're like talking about breakups, but like an audition when you go and audition for a part and they don't even say thank you, they just say okay, they don't even
we
contact,
don't
we'll be
need
in
to.
touch.
Yes, we don't,
But
but that even goes through the, even me trying to be in the director mode and being in an organization and trying to get funding for our programming. Like, you're trying to compete with all these people, you have to make yourself look super good. And they basically say, oh no, you don't, your art that that you've been doing and got passion for is not good enough for this money. And
yes,
I'm
which
like,
it is
wait,
right in the chest, stab right in the chest.
it,
However,
man, but you have to dust yourself off, and you have to be
yeah,
creative, and you have to say, well, my art is fucking good.
hmm,
Who are you to tell me that it's not? And let me keep on going and not, get tripped out about it. So,
yeah. Like whenever I
yeah.
go to an audition and I don't get the part or whatever, usually you find out like the day of or the day after. Usually I give myself like couple hours to be a little bit like, oh, that's too bad. I really wanted that. I'm not upset because they didn't want me. I'm upset because I wanted it and I didn't get what I wanted.
Yes,
But
yes,
I think of it as like, but I obviously wasn't the right person for the
yeah,
job, which
yeah.
because I'm looking for a new job right now. And it's been a little tough, not everybody wants me, but that's okay because like, well, somebody else was better suited for the job because I like to see people and businesses and companies or whatever thrive in whatever they're trying to do as long as they're serving a good purpose. So
And and you have to think about not all money is good money. Not all money is for me, right?
yeah.
And so that means that looking at your job, looking at the grants, because I have been almost on boohoo. I have not gotten one grant for this year to do any of Bahia Movement's programming, and I'm trying to almost kind of
Mhm.
freaking out. One, and then two, Nafi's all the way in LA. So I'm like, I lost my partner. I
Yeah.
don't have any funding. What the fuck? Is this the end of Bahia? So I'm just trying to figure out, right? Don't freak out. For
Mhm.
whatever reason, that's not where you're supposed to be. So
Yes.
right now, be okay with where you are right now in the present. So right now, this may be time for you to relax, recoup, rethink, go back to the drawing board, be okay, cry over that spilled milk for a second,
Yeah.
right? And then keep it going. Because if you just kind of relax, then it will come to you where you're supposed to be, right? So
Yes.
I feel the same with your job. It's there.
Yeah, it's
Just
there.
have, yes, we just have to wait and let it reveal itself, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good things will come to you, no matter what it is. It may seem like sometimes it may seem like a bad thing, but it will be a good thing in the long run. Which
Mm-hmm.
another thing that gets brought up is like about being, present in the moment, appreciating where you are now and being aware of where you are now. Not
Yes.
you don't even have to like it or appreciate it. Just be conscious of what's going on and live in the moment because I feel like especially with my generation everybody tells us like also because I'm graduating college next year that like
Congratulations.
everybody's oh, thank you finally but
Yes.
everybody asks me like what are you going to do when you graduate, what are you going to do in 5 years, what's your 5 year plan, what's your 10 year plan.
Mm-hmm.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't
And you know
know.
what,
And
because
it's
I know
okay that you don't know.
and that's
It's
okay
okay.
because everyone is so focused on like the 5 year plan is a trendy thing right now, especially.
Oh, it's always been trendy. It's all that they
But
teach
they're
that
trying to
on.
make it cute on social media, and it's like some people I don't want to think that far ahead because I personally can't. I have too much going on within the next 6 months that like if I think too far ahead, I'm gonna overload myself
Yeah.
with all the stress of the what ifs and
Yeah.
like the could be's and the why nots and all
Yeah.
these things where it's like we're told like start saving now so you can buy a house in 15 to 20 years, which yes, that is a good idea, but there's so much emphasis on like think about later, don't think about right now, think about later.
Yeah.
But do something right now to improve your later, but why can't I do something right now to improve my
My right now.
right now?
Yeah. And that's it. That's it. So I would say don't listen to none of them. Don't listen to none of them and just don't listen. Just and this is the thing about being on your own vibration, and I know that we have gone again full circle and we're touching on all these different very important points, but
Yes.
be in tune with your own
Oh
vibration with the
yeah.
universe, because if you be in tune with your own vibration with the universe, regardless if it's 10 years from now, the universe knows where you are going to be 10 years from now. You don't, but the
You don't.
universe does.
You definitely
Yes.
do not.
So if you focus on what's going on presently, the universe will tap into what you want and it will guide you to where you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
step by step. It's going to show you the pathway, right? So don't worry
Yeah.
about any of that. Focus on where you are now. How do you feel? Am I happy? Am I frustrated? Am I sad? Am I depressed? What am I feeling right now? Because if you do not tap into what you're feeling right now and check in with your feelings constantly, then you may not ever understand where you're going to go. Right? You may not be able to identify where that path is for 5 years, 10 years, because you're so fucked up now, right? With your feelings,
Yeah.
because you're listening to all of this shit and you're overloaded, like you said. So don't listen to none of that.
Yeah, and especially the media just like spits it out at you all the time. It's always scrolling. There's always something about like
Stop that shit. Get
whatever.
off of
Yeah.
this damn thing.
I see, I give myself time during the day. I shut it off. I have my phone on if if I'm not expecting like something for work, or like if I have some downtime, my phone is on do not disturb, because
Yeah,
there's just too
no,
much.
it's too
Which
much.
it's not as often as I'd like it to be, because a lot of my jobs like surround the phone and social media, especially the dancing, the dance world.
Yes.
Your Instagram is your website now. A lot
Yeah.
of people, which I know I need a website. I'll work on that. But like I was told when I got hired at my studio now, like
But
I
it
didn't really, I
doesn't.
had an Instagram, but I had like 20 followers. I had it private. I wasn't a big social media person
Yeah.
until I started working there, because she was like, you need an Instagram because that's basically your portfolio.
Yeah, because even if I have a website, but I'm sitting up here really real trying to figure out, like how many people go to my website? And that's like
They go to
200
your Instagram first, and it's
first. They go and they communicate, and I hardly am ever on my Instagram because I am not a social media person, right? But it's forcing you to do that. It's forcing you to do that, right? So even if you got a website, how many people are not going to visit that damn website? They're going to look at your Instagram. I'm noticing even now with a lot of like, gigs, they want to know what's your Instagram handle, and how many followers do you have? And I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? Oh, because if you don't have 1 million followers, then you're not important, right? So it's like, wow, that's crazy. But I'm not going to let it trip me out. I'm not, because again,
no.
I have to follow the vibration that makes me happy, and that social media does not make me happy. It doesn't. So
It doesn't.
yeah,
And actually, they've been doing studies on like social media and stuff and how it's affecting young brains,
yeah,
teenage brains.
yes.
They are literally, it's rotting.
They're great. No, seriously.
And I think about it with myself too, because I'll find myself scrolling on like TikTok or whatever, because part of my social media job is I have to like scroll on TikTok to keep up with what's trending now. And like I'll just find myself like mindlessly like to the point where I don't even remember what I watched like 5 minutes ago,
months
because I
ago,
have
yeah.
so much like shoved down my throat.
Yes. And the one other thing, and the one other thing that I don't like going to social media, especially with the dancing, is because I don't want to feel like I am, which is automatically going to happen. You're going to automatically create something that somebody else created. That's just automatic. But
Nothing
I
is
want to be able to, right? I want to be able to so happen upon it. I don't want to see something and say, oh, I'm going to try to do that. Right? I want my, yes, I want my natural instincts to be able to create that. And then, oh shit, somebody else thought about that too. Like that's how I feel, because you can get
actually a big thing
influenced.
right now too. Like I've noticed, and I've had conversations with my cabaret company and like with the woman that owns the studio and everything, how like on social media, a lot of choreographers in their early 20s, my age group, they're trying to be like each other and they're trying to be like everyone else. And I've taken 2 classes within the last week where in the class they did the same move, which we all steal moves, whatever, but it's like because it was a I saw this video on social media where this like movement sequence was done, and I've seen it repeated multiple times over the past week.
And
it's like
the difference is, I think I'm sorry, but you said a very key thing. Movements can be stolen. Sequences, you are you are now plagiarizing
Off of somebody else's stuff.
yes. Now, if I take that one movement out of that sequence, you can't fuck with me, right? Because now I'm going to take that one movement and I'm going to create my own sequence. But if you are taking the whole fucking sequence, a whole phrase, you're plagiarizing. You're not and not quoting where you got it from. Oh, I'm going to redo this and this is da, 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 from here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like writing a paper. Y'all don't understand that? Dance is a story, like you said. And most of the time it has an introduction, it has a body, and it has a conclusion. What the fuck is that? That's a paper.
A dance is, to me, is considered an intellectual property. What I made, that is mine. Which it's mine to share. And yes, you can take inspiration from it. However, that is my work, that is my intellect, that is my time, which time is money.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
And because I've just seen it a lot where, and it's been happening like a lot really recently, where a couple, not just local, but local choreographers have been caught up, like, oh, found out you stole like a whole minute from somebody
else. Yeah.
And I mean, because in my classes, especially, like, I'll see like a cool move that I take it and I incorporate it into my choreography. But then I always give credit. I always, even if it's like, I don't remember who it was, but I found this video and I saw this one little move and this is where I got it. This isn't, but I straight up say, this is not original. This is not mine.
Yeah, but like I said,
citing my sources.
Like I said, movements, nobody can own movements, right? No. Nobody can own movements. But it's like me doing all of Sean Bankhead's whole, Victoria Monet's ding, 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 that one, that whole thing, and saying, oh yeah, that's my shit.
I made that. I came up with that. No, you didn't. It's okay that you did it. It's really okay.
And I mean, I'm not even putting it to Victoria Monet's music. I'm just taking the steps, the movement, the whole, and putting it on another. That's the shit that I'm like, no, that's not cool. You can't do that. Now, if this step has been around for hella long, right? Come on, but some of the steps Sean Bankhead has created. He is a dance maker. He makes movements. So if you are saying, I like that one he did for, I don't even know, I can't remember, but he dropped it and then he went to the side like that. I cannot remember what video that was, but that shit, like, if I'm putting that in my whole choreography, I need to say, but that one right there, thank you to Sean Bankhead, da, 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 da. I'm just gonna list it because y'all know that y'all gonna recognize that movement straight off. Mm-hmm. Let's just say the one with I forgot her name. Beat it up like a and she be doing this and doing that, whatever the one. What's her name? B. Cardi B's video, and Sean Bankhead created her video. Yeah. Right. So with Megan Thee Stallion. Now, if I start doing some of that, beat up like whatever, I know that if you see me do this and all of that, you know that I got that from Sean Bankhead. So I have to be able to just quote people, quote people, because people go and get sued for plagiarism. And seriously. So as you can see, that's a button that was pushed on mine.
Because that also just brings us back, full circle to like just acknowledge where you get your shit from.
That's it.
It's fine. Nobody. I'm not gonna judge you if you say I was inspired by this, so I took it.
Yeah, because what also happens. But what also happens, we get dancers block, right? Just like how writers get writers block, we get dancers block. But if you continue to do that and it starts to become a pattern, I'm going to think that you do not know how to dance. The only thing that you know how to do is look at somebody else, learn their shit, and regurgitate it.
And it's not even not knowing how to do it. It's just not having enough confidence in yourself that you can't.
Correct, that too. It can be both. It can
It
be
can be
many.
both, yes.
It can be many of things, but that means that there's a problem that needs to be addressed.
But it's people just want to take things that are trending and that are getting all the likes on social media. Oh, this got a lot of likes, so I'm gonna take it and put it in my
I get a
shit.
lot of likes.
But it's like, what is
Yeah.
why do likes matter? Like all I did was on my screen. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean
It doesn't,
anything.
but it does to a lot of people. It does. It does. And that's
Which is
why I say,
especially in the industry. It's
you know what else? And I know we've gone completely far. I got one more question so we
I
can
know.
wrap it up. But this is what speaking of that like shit, I would send somebody a text and they like it. And I'm sitting up here saying, so are you answering my question?
Yeah, so
I
what does that
still,
mean?
yes, yes. So what does like mean? Other than I see you saw my text, but I'm still asking, hey, are we meeting at 12?
See, I only use a like to use it. The only time I like a message is when like it's not a question or anything. It's just like it's I acknowledge your message. I got it. Thank you. But if you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it.
Well,
I
you're
know
doing great.
or like if I have nothing, if the conversation's done, I have nothing else to say. That's my little way of saying thanks for the conversation, pretty much. And, we
I
move
love
on.
it. And I don't even have a freaking iPhone, so I can't even come back with a like. So that's the part that I'm an Android girl, and I'm like, we don't even have those likes, hearts, and loves, and all that other stuff. So I still am like, what, huh? So I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't. And I love technology, but technology is going down a vicious, damaging cycle that, again, it became more of a money maker. And some people are, it's a money maker. And I think
Oh yeah.
more money's more money, more problem type thing, you know? So I think that's where I am. I think, yeah, more money, more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. Okay. It is coming to that point that we need to wrap up. I've had so much fun talking to
Me
you.
too. Yeah.
We still need to dance together.
Yes, we do.
So I really want to do that. So what is your imprint that you would like to leave on the world? What do you want to leave your signature? And
That's
it
what
can, yeah, and it can be the dance world, it can be the personal world, it can be just the world in general. What is your imprint, your signature that you want to be like, yeah.
Yes, I'll answer both sides. Personally, I'll start with the personal one and then I'll do the dance one because they're slightly different, I think. Personally, I just want people to know, and it's not even, it doesn't have to be about me. I just want to leave the world with a sense of love. I guess to dumb it down, I'll just say I just like to approach all situations. I believe love is the strongest energy in the universe. It all because there's that thing about that spectrum where it's like love and fear and all emotions fall on that spectrum. I want to be on this end in everything that I do. Not necessarily 100%, but at least the 50,
Yes.
And I just want people to know that, for the world to know that I appreciate my time here. I like it here. It's fun.
Yes.
And I just want to,
Yes.
and I want to have fun, and I want other people to have fun along with me. Because I feel like everything is so serious all the time. And it's like, and I tell people a lot of the time, I say, please don't take me too seriously because I don't even take myself that seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I find myself taking things way too serious, I get so bogged down with like everything has to be a means to an end. But that's not true. I just I've been telling myself I go do things by myself just simply because I like to do it. I'm there. I also same with like the way I dress. I wear things because I like the color or I like the pattern or I like the way my shape looks. And it's not for anybody else. It's just for me to add a little bit of flavor in anything that I'm doing.
And by the way, I love your hair tie.
Oh, thank you. I have a whole collection.
Yes, that is so beautiful.
Thank you. But then I guess to dance on the dance side of this question, I want to know, especially as a plus size queer dancer, dance maker, choreographer, whatever you want to call me, artist. Um, I've always said I like theater and dance and I like performing because I like telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel because before we could write, before we could do anything, we passed things down through either oral storytelling or
Yep.
through theater, and it's actually the anthropologists, every single civilization that they've ever found, there is evidence of dance in it. Because dance, you don't need to talk to tell a story. All you have to do is move. Everything moves, everything dances. Birds, trees, everything that's living and breathing is also dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
It's
just
also doing
I
some
guess
type of movement.
yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And so I just want people to know that I will use this word, it's a strong word, but people have an obligation to tell stories, I think, because it allows for whoever comes after us, whether that be our children or other people's children or whoever, that this is what happened before. This is what I did. Take what you want from that. Take what you want from my story and our story as a community, as a whole, as the world, and make your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I want people to dance simply because they like it and because they have a story to tell, because we all do. And I'm also getting emotional about this question because everyone is so complex. You have so much going on. And if you just need to shake it out, shake it off in a dance or any way, shape, or form of movement, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for telling whoever's watching, even if it's just you in the mirror or just you and the air around you. Put that energy out there and just let it be. I guess I'll end it on that. Just tell your story. I want you to tell your story. Because the thing is, I will listen. I love hearing stories. I love watching them. I love, like, I can do this thing called a girl debrief at the end of, like, if something happened, it could be the most mundane task, but my friend wants to call and talk about it, I'll sit there and I'll listen because I care. And that's it. And that's what I'll end it on.
I agree. I think that is an amazing end because we have to not take things so serious. We have to let go. We have to release. My word for the year is release.
That's a good one. That is a really good one.
So I wake up every morning, thank that my organs, my breath, my everything inside of my body, my eyes woke up, right? And I move my body. I do some type of stretch, some type of something to be able to just let my body say, I'm here, I'm present. And also I think that we will release those endorphins into the world. And if we all did it on that love vibration, the world would be a different place.
I say, fuck it, I'm here. I'm gonna be here whether you like it or not.
Right? And I love being here. I love being alive and being. And nothing is that serious. Nothing is that serious.
It's really not.
There's nothing on this fucking earth that's that serious. I don't care if your bills ain't paid. I don't care if you getting the F. Seriously, if you just be like, I'm just gonna chill out and I'm gonna relax, I kid you not, the answer will come.
Yes.
Answer will come. So movement is a great thing. Move your body. Just release. Just release. Just release.
Take it out, stretch a little bit, just let it go.
And let it go. So thank you so very much, Tallulah. Where can they find you? And if you can just send me like a little bio, I don't know if you have one already made so I can put it on the YouTube. And again, and I can send you via email if you want the YouTube link so you can see. I'll send you this raw. And what I've been doing, because I've been trying to learn how to edit, but at this point, I'm
That's the
not
hard thing.
editing. That's the hard thing. And I've been trying to
Bad
find
at it.
somebody to help me with that. So what I've been doing is just, I ain't edited nothing. Everything is as it is. So y'all are going to see all of it.
Yeah.
So I would send you the raw, and then what I've just been doing is just adding on like an intro and different things of
Yeah.
that nature. And like I
Cool.
said, I'm not an editor, so they're gonna hear all of this.
Good. We had some good things to say, I think. So
Yes, yes. I just, I think sometimes if we just keep it raw and uncut, then that's pretty much, because we're editing and what's that called? Doctoring stuff up all the time, like this artificial and whatever intelligence is taking over. We can't even look like how we really are because you guys are having those filters and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so let us know where we can reach you.
You can find me on Instagram at Lula Simone. It's LULAHSIMONE. And if you have any questions for me or anything, I will talk. I love
Yes.
talking, obviously. So if you want to talk to me, please send me anything my way. Or you can email me at lulaxsimone@gmail. That's a good one too.
Okay, and if they want to follow you, just find you on the internet and follow you on Instagram, and
Yes.
you will post your up and coming events and shows in the
I
Sacramento
post
area.
everything. Yeah, I post not just events that I have going on, but events that are happening in the community with not just my studio, other studios, with Sac State, with anything I can get my hands on some info, it's out there because I
Okay,
will
and this
share
is
it with you.
Sacramento, California. You all, I don't know if there's another Sacramento anywhere on this in America,
I
but
have no idea.
United States.
California, yes.
It's Sacramento, California. So again, Tallulah, thank you. Maybe we can maybe around April sometime when it gets hotter.
Yes.
I don't like the cold. We
When
can
it's a little warmer, yeah.
yeah, we can probably do a little something. Nafi and I don't know if you saw it on our Instagram. We went to the school and we did something in front of the mirror.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so maybe we can do something like that.
Sounds
And
like fun.
we totally created that right then and there. We just was like, okay, you want to do this? Oh, we're gonna do that, and then
Yeah,
okay, yeah. So
that's what you do.
yeah, no rehearsal. We just gonna pick a day, figure out our costume, and we'll
figure
figure
it out.
Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you so
Have a
much. Thank
great
you for having me.
weekend.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.